What is cooking, everybody? Hopefully everyone's having a great weekend. It's Randy Paddock here with another edition of, not the bull chat, no, we're doing a baby chat. So this is baby chat number tray, 3-piece on that baby chat. So what I'm going to be going over today on baby chat is one of my favorite things that's near and dear to my heart, or at least it was, and that is a little something called Wauconda Fest. Okay, so if you're from where I live or know what I'm talking about, a little shiver just went up your spine of greatness, and probably a funny ass story or six just popped into your head. You probably got the taste of fucking MGD in your mouth, maybe throw up, maybe some bad hookup, whatever. When I say that, when I say the word Wauconda Fest, and if you know what I'm talking about, like I said, it's just gonna create a feeling of smell of funnel cake and despair and not hitting goals and debauchery, and it's fucking awesome. And it used to be a big part of my life, so I figured that, hey, it might be something fun to talk about on a little baby chat edition. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So without further ado, let's just talk about Wauconda Fest. So I kind of took some notes on it. I know that's hilarious. It's like taking notes about Wauconda Fest is like the funniest shit on the planet because it's such a fuck around thing. But I want to make sure I covered everything. So we will see. And if I didn't or if I left anything out, please leave a comment. If you're going to be watching this on YouTube, leave a comment. If you're listening to it on iTunes or whatever, leave a comment or hit me up on social media or hit me up on an email, bullchatpod@gmail.com, and let me know what's up. Or again, if you have an idea for another baby chat or anything like that. So, first of all, what is Wauconda Fest? So what Wauconda Fest is, it is a small town carnival, like a lot of small towns have, or medium-sized towns, or even big towns. They have carnivals, man. People love that shit. They love rides. They love funnel cake, elephant ears, beers, 80s rock bands on the tour of different fests. So that's what it is. It's brought to you by Skinners. Skinners are the carnies at Wauconda Fest. So if you play your cards right, you might catch some Skinner's folks running about in the streets around Wauconda Fest time. It goes from Thursday evening until Sunday evening, usually the last or second to last weekend in June, like in the 20-somethings of June. And it is held at, I don't know what you would call it, because it's not Cook's Park. They might call it Cook's Park, but it's just essentially the parking lot across the street from the high school, and then on to some, I guess that would be some of the Cook's Park land there. So that is what Wauconda Fest is, okay? So I didn't know how to put it, so I guess I'll go into the layout first. I'm going a little backwards for my notes, but so the layout. So when you're open to Wauconda Fest, there's many different points of entry. My favorite point of entry would be coming directly off of Main Street. Some people like to backdoor it, park in the rec center or some bullshit like that, and come around that backside through Cook's Park. My Aunt Charmaine's usually handing out buttons there. Yes, Wauconda Fest is a family affair for my Torello side of the family. My mom got out, but she used to be balls deep into that, selling beer tickets. My Aunt Charlie's up in there. I don't know if my Aunt Lori does or anything like that. And then my uncles will be drinking beers there. So it is a family affair. But my mom doesn't go anymore. Like I said, she got out. She's the smart one. But anyhow, so I'm going to be giving the layout coming in from Main Street. So obviously, you got the big marquee. And by big marquee, it's like a fucking piece of wood that says Wauconda Fest, right? And they also, I apologize. I digress real quick. Sorry, I'm a little bit excited. I might be jumping around. So you pay your $2, you get a pin, and then you're good for the weekend, right? And on the pin, it'll say Wauconda Fest in the year, and it's like always some sort of a hilarious slogan, or it used to be, at least when it was fun. I don't know if they do it anymore, but it used to be staying alive in 95, get more kicks in 96, just like heaven in 97, ain't shit great in 98, have a fun time in 99, I don't fucking know, but like shit like that. So say that on the pin, okay? So you got your pin, you walk in, so you got everything in front of you. What you're going to want to do first is hook an immediate left, because what immediate left's going to do is going to be able to go and you're going to be able to get yourself your bracelet so you can get beers, right? That's very much a big part of Wauconda Fest, is being able to drink beers. It's very hard to do sober. I've done it sober as a child. That's about it. Other than that, you can't do it sober. All right, so you hook your left, you get your wristband. All right, then you're going to pop on out, and then you're going to jam a right, and you're going to go past where you came in, you're going to buy beer tickets. Yes, this is the system. So you have to have a bracelet for beers, then you have to give your cash for tickets, then trade those tickets for beers. And this system is awesome because, well, let me say, so you spin around about 6 o'clock, and then you have the beer tent, okay? And I'm going to save that for last. So what you're going to do first is you kind of hook around the beer tent to your left a little bit, and that's like the fucking forum, right? It's like the open area. So all the way to the left into the Cooks Park area, that's where you're going to have, your rides. You're going to have your games and everything back that. Around the rest of the blacktop of the parking lot, you're going to have where you can get your funnel cakes. You're going to have some other places where you can get carny food and shit like that. Then, like, there's the forum, like I said, and that's the rest of the parking lot. That's got the end of that's got the stage. We're going to see the fucking modern day Romeos, bro. Or you're going to see some American English Beatles tribute band or whomever is playing. And they got some bleachers there, but that's where all the drunk 40-year-old ladies dance their ass off. Behind that, you got the shitters, the porta-johns. To the left of that, you got the zipper. So that's where you hang out when you're in junior high, by the zipper and the high roller. And then the octopus ride that like goes up and down, and you're in those spinny carts, because that's where the shit goes down for the punk ass like 12 to 16 demographic. That's where you get in fist fights. That's where you come in and you just hang out after you just got high behind something in Cooks Park. That's where you try to play a little grab ass with some chickadees, but that's where like you hang out there. You keep walking around again, you have the rest of the games and all that fun shit. So that's the essential layout of it. As a grown-up, you don't go to the games and stuff so much. You're essentially in the forum, but more than likely, you're underneath the beer tent. So the beer tent, here we go. So giddy up. So let's retrace back to, I buy my beer tickets, I turn around, I'm walking into the beer tent. So to the right, there's another tent. Don't get that confused for the beer tent. That's where people play bingo. There's like bingo games popping off all the time at Wauconda Fest. So that's where that is. Then you're going to hook into the beer tent. So you're going to walk in, and within the beer tent, all that it is there's all kinds of seating, and the seating is picnic tables, okay? So on your right side, it's the fucking, I'm throwing air quotes here if you're listening to this, Taste of Wauconda, all right? And the Taste of Wauconda essentially has Wauconda restaurants that throw their food up there. So this is where I like to pop in, maybe get a slice of pie from JJ Twigs. By pie, I mean pizza, so you get some pizza from Twigs, you get some Chinese food. The boosters are always slanging fucking corn on the cob down at the end. You might get yourself something from Bulldogs. You might get yourself from whatever's going on there. That's the Taste of Wauconda, okay? Immediately across from that is the beer garden, like where you get your beers, and it's only Miller products. So you just got to kind of suck it up, because I'm a Bud guy. I'm Harry Carey, man. I'm a Cubs fan. I'm a Bud man. So the Miller products don't particularly, do it for me, especially if I don't carry a fucking High Life. So I drink MGDs. I do not like Miller Lite at all, so I'm an MGD guy. So now what you do then, they have all the kegs there. And so you can get beers on either side of the tent. So on one side, you're in the tent. On the other side, you're in the fucking forum where the bands are. You can snatch beers from either end. And this is volunteers. So the good thing about this is you're going to know some of the volunteers. It's getting harder for me now because I'm getting older and I moved away for a bunch of years. But, you got an in. That's where this ticket system really kicks ass, because they don't take your tickets, or they give you like a 6-for-1 deal, whatever. So then what you do is you sit there and you smash a million beers and get fucked up. And then what's going to happen under that beer tent is you're going to see every person you ever knew in your life. Yeah. If you've been to Wauconda Fest before, you just thought of 20 fucking people that you're like, yeah, that fucking asshole. That's exactly what happens. It's the best and biggest high school reunion for kids from Wauconda High and surrounding areas that you're ever going to find. All right? Every single person you never wanted to see again in your life is going to be there. And they're going to see you, and you're going to make direct fucking eye contact. That's going to happen. And then you have these kids from high school. It's my favorite. So I graduated in 2002, right? So it's 2018. It's like 16 years ago, right? You have people fucking rolling up. Oh, dude, Paddock, remember that time? And luckily, all the hits to the head and the Budweisers didn't smash my brain so much. So I do remember those times where in high school, remember that class test? So a lot of those stories. Dude, remember that time at lunch? Remember that? So a lot of that happens. Then they think you still doing that shit? I'm like, no, motherfucker. It was 16 years ago. I'm 33. I'm not still doing things I did when I was 15, right? But I guess it makes sense for them, because that's when our endings, our communication stopped. So what else do they have, right? So you're going to see that. Back in the day, it was way better because you'd see some Torres brothers rolling around with a fucking hat in Old English. It said Torres on the. They used to wear it backwards like this. If you're watching on YouTube with the bangs flipping up, right? Then you knew the Torres were in the house. Usually, some people fucking act up and get real drunk. Wakanda PD's got to pop in. Sometimes they got to tase people or they handcuff them, got to pull them out. That shit tends to happen. So that's the beer garden. That's the layout of Wauconda Fest. So that's what I kind of wanted to start it off with, to paint the picture a little bit of what this fucking thing is. It's awesome. All right. So then I'm going to kind of talk about, so Thursday night, I guess I should go into the days first. So Thursday night, that's they try to really start with a bang. That's usually when they have a pretty big band. Big, again, in air quotes, for the area. So that's when you might get a Modern Day Romeo's or an American English or some sort of a great tribute band to get the party started. It's not open as late on Thursday because people have to work on Friday, but they want to set the tone that this is a party, right? So that's Thursday. Friday, that's when a lot of the fuckery happens. So Friday, people are getting off work, people are doing this pre-gaming, going in, getting a lot of bad shit happens. It closes at midnight and the bars are open until 3 after the fact. But I'll get into that in a little bit. So that's Friday. Saturday daytime is more of a family day. They do the unlimited rides for the kids. They usually have high school bands playing and things of that nature. Maybe little Miss Wakonda's walking around, doing her little wave and shaking hands. Some bingo games are probably popping off. I think that's exactly, I think Saturday might be when they do the 5K. I think that's what's going on during the daytime. And then you got Saturday night, is another fuck around debauchery night, Usually it's kind of hit or miss. Usually Saturday night not as big because people usually get weird on Friday night, but it's still, there's some weird shit that'll happen. And then you have Sunday, and then Sunday you're going to have the car show popping off at Cooks Park. The 5K might be that day if it's on Saturday. More of a family day again, and then Sunday night they close down pretty hard and pretty early on that Sunday as well. So that's kind of how the days break down. So first I wanted to hit you. There's different types of festers, I call them. Okay, so first you got like your family fester. All right, so this is kind of when you become a grown up, I think, and when you don't become a fucking Wakanda degenerate grown up. When you become like a normal, socialized grown up with a family. That's when you become a family fester. And I will see the family festers on like a Saturday daytime with their kids doing like the ride thing, right? Like my buddy Zach would probably be like a family fester. And people, it's funny, as you grow up, people might stay in the same level of fester, or they might, kind of, it's like water. You can move and upgrade your festing game, and you can be, one kind of fester and then be another, right? But Saturday festers, or family festers, usually the Saturday during the day is how that's going to be popping off. And then you had your casual fester, okay? So the casual fester, that's like a one-nighter. All right, so you're going to catch them probably like the beginning too, so probably like a Thursday night or a Friday night. The Thursday night, like if you grew up in Wakanda and you still lived there, like if you're the cash fester, but you don't really want to get in all the bullshit of seeing every motherfucker ever, like you'd probably pop in a Thursday for a little bit for the night, bounce out, maybe a Friday if you're feeling spontaneous, a little saucy. But other than that, you're kind of out. That's casual. All right. Then you got what would just be like a fester. So this would be like normal. Okay. So this is a two-nighter. All right. This is someone that's like, all right, like, even if you're out of the partying phase or doing whatever and still around town, you're like, fuck it, it's Wauconda Fest. I'm going to have some fun. Usually take 2 nights. So they usually do a back-to-back. It's usually like a Thursday, Friday, or maybe a Friday, Saturday. Seldom does someone usually do like a Thursday, Saturday, just for the fact, like, you kind of want to knock it all out of the way. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. There are those unicorns out there, but usually you just go back to back because you want to kind of fucking get it all out of your system in those 2 days and then let it be gone for another year. You can go back to being normal. Plus, it can be very fun and addicting. So if you have like a kick-ass Thursday, like, fuck, I got to go back Friday, right? Or if you have a good Friday, you're like, fuck, let's see what everyone's doing Saturday. So that's like, just a fester. I would say like that's the run-of-the-mill normal. And then you have the diehards. And this is the category that I fell into for many of years. And my friends fell into, and the diehards are there every fucking day. So I'm talking, you're there Thursday night, you're shutting it down Friday, you're shutting it down Saturday, and they got to fucking boot your ass out on Sunday. All right, you're festing your balls off on Sunday as well because you don't have any goals, you don't have a good fucking job that matters that you're coming on Monday, or you can call out, or you don't have a job, and you don't give a fuck about nothing besides getting hammered and having awesome times. That was me and my group of friends, diehards. All right, I would say this day and age, I'm probably a casual fester. I don't know. I still like to pop in and see what's what. But like every time I go, I'm like, nah. But maybe a fester. I might go twice. I don't know. We'll see what happens this year if my boys are around. I do like tagging along, however, though, because I am a fan of day drinking with my buddies that are family festers. So like they're kind of doing their show with their kids, and I can walk around and drink beers during the day, get some sun. I like that. So those are different types of festers. But yeah, me and my crew, we were some diehards. Team Blackout and Team Shutdown very much thrived within the fucking through the fest. Like we were festing. Okay? So now I want to describe to you like the different phases of a Wauconda Fest day. Okay, so we have the pre-fest. All right? So pre-festing it's essentially what your pregame is. Okay, so I couldn't tell you what everybody's was. Sometimes it was going to your buddy's house and drinking beers. And this is like, and a lot of the times when I'm talking about it from the fun part, like when I was like smashing and like, it's like Uber and shit didn't exist, okay? So now you can like do whatever and you can get an Uber there or whatever. But, so we were for sure not doing that. So you could be getting hammered at a buddy's house and then maybe making a walkover, getting dropped off. My grandpa used to live right behind the high school, so I used to have prime time parking, so I could park there and walk on down. But so whatever your pregame is, me and my friends, our pregame for the fest was essentially the Main Street Death March. So just go ahead back to the first bull chat ever, and I explained the Main Street Death March. But what we would do is we would start drinking, usually Lindy's, and especially back in the day, it was Old Lindy's, which kicked ass. So we'd usually start drinking there. Again, let's say it's Thursday or Friday, whatever. I would start drinking earlier because I didn't have shit to do. Then my buddies all my other buddies that didn't have shit to do, they'd be there sitting directly next to me slamming pints, or my buddies then with jobs would meet us up. We'd get our shine on over there, get a little fucked up. Once the sun went down, dusk came out, the fangs came out, we'd make our walk down Main Street to the fest. So that's it, your pre-fest. But you didn't really ever want to go into Wauconda Fest with a clear head. You had to be fucked up. So you had to be either high or a little buzzed up, drunk, or whatever. You had to have the certain mindset of being a little bit kind of out of it because you didn't know what the hell you were going to walk into, who you were going to see, and you had no clue when it was going to happen. You could be getting your pin, or you could be standing in line and boom, someone you haven't seen in fucking 15 years, like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And if you're kind of sober, you might not be ready for it. You might react like shit. So you got to be a little fucked up beforehand, okay? So that's very important. Pre-festing is vital and crucial to having a great fest experience. All right. So if you've never fested before and you're planning to this year, or you're kind of a rookie, get a little drunk before you go, or smoke a little weed, whatever you want to do. All right. Next, now you're festing. So this is why you're at the fest. Okay. So again, I like to kind of keep it moving. A lot of people, they'll post up. A lot of people that I want to hang out, you post up right by the beers. Why? Because we slam a bunch of beers, and so it's beer garden side under the tent, posting up, right? So I like to keep it moving because I want to see people if I'm there. So I'll do some laps around. I don't really venture out into the games or to the rides area. I'm staying within the forum of the battle zone that is the dancing pool of, older women who are cutting loose, dancing their asses off to some great beats of the Beatles, or I'm, under the beer garden. But I'm keeping it moving, because I want to kind of see who's out there. I'm usually grabbing some grub, so when I'm festing, I like to have festing food, so I'm hitting up the boosters for that cob. I'm for sure getting a funnel cake on that ass. Right, so these are things that I'm doing, or I'm posting up, sitting around, kind of holding court. I do not go to the porta-johns that are behind the stage, man. At night, you never know what the fuck's going on back there. I don't want to do that. I usually go to the ones behind the bingo tent. That's always kind of a good time. The walk back and forth to the bathroom is hilarious because that's when you usually see people getting more fucked up. I like to go out. I like to watch the band a little bit, kind of see what's popping off. But you're festing, man. You're having a good time, keeping it moving. And then after that, you have the post fest. So this is where shit gets crazy. Okay. Well, so the I guess during the fest, so it ends at midnight on Friday, Saturday, I believe 10 o'clock on Thursday, Sunday. So what happens is we like to party, right? Wauconda people. So after it's closed down, they don't call like a last call. They just stop. Then the police start kicking you out and pushing you out. So sometimes people that are fucked up don't like this. So while you're festing, things happen. So again, because people see each other that haven't seen each other in a while sometimes, or people are going to collide that shouldn't be, sometimes violence happens at Wauconda Fest. So there's a good old fight every now and then, and that's always great. You know, when we were kids, we used to get in fights all the time. When we were like in junior high, high school, we did fist fighting at Wauconda Fest. That was good times. Grown-ups do it sometimes under the beer tent. Shit's going down because you have motherfucker with drama A, motherfucker with drama B. They're not supposed to see each other. They probably slept with the same people. They might have kids by the same people. Then they see each other in the beer garden. They're drunk. Skabam. Awesomeness for your boy to watch. Right? So there could be some of those things happen, and then the PDs start shuffling everyone out at closing time. Sometimes that gets a little angry. Sometimes people give the PD some guff, and they got to fucking take you out, which is always awesome as well. The Torreses used to be good for that. So there's a lot of emotion once you're booted out. And then what happens when you're booted out, post-festing, you're going to start the death march back up Main Street. So again, you got to kind of have your wits about you, because what happens here is awesome shit. Some people are going to be falling down, hitting the deck because they're hammered. People yelling at cars in the streets. People, starting to play grab ass and hook up a little bit. Sometimes a fist fight again is breaking out in the streets. So you got to kind of pay attention to what's going on, because it's dark and there's hundreds of people walking up Main Street. And then what happens is a fucking blitzkrieg on Lindy's outside deck. That's where you always start off. So you go to that outside deck, and that's where you keep the fest on festin'. All right, you're at the Lindy's outside deck. You're seeing everyone there. You're catching up. You're having laughs. You're slamming overpriced beers from Lindy's. They probably jack up the price more because it's already fucking jacked up, and you're having a good time. Again, some shit might pop off. I remember I saw Matt Richlick destroy some kid there one time, like on the outside deck after the fest. People are hooking up and doing things. So you're out there for a while, right? So, and then you got to continue the malarkey. So you stay on Lindy's for a little bit. Some people choose to stay there, until they close. I like to keep it moving. I'm keeping moving it, going south down Main Street there. And then again, you got Middleton's. Back in my day, it was Otrena's. You'd want to pop in there, stick your head in there, maybe grab a drink from Robbie or her sister or whomever is at Middleton's now, see what's going on. But usually you want to get your ass to the Village, at least back in that day. I don't know if the Village has as much clout or is as fucking awesome as it used to be back in the day, but everyone used to end up there. And that's when the wild shit's happening, because that's your 3 a.m. bar. All right, so that's when there's all kinds of riffraff going about, all kinds of shenanigans happening, all kinds of illegal deals popping off. Fuck, there was some golden years though. Wauconda Fest one season when Cover 2 was open. Fucking forget about it. There was all kinds of, that was just illegal stuff going on and awesome shit popping off as well. I didn't even fest that hard. I was just hanging out at Cover 2, just slamming rumblements, just waiting for all the travesties to go down. But the post fest, man, it gets nutty, man. The Main Street is alive and well and breeding. And it's cool, too, because you'll also see all kinds of people that aren't usually out getting hammered and partying, and they're all fucked up all over Main Street. And it's great. It's great. I love it. And then then it ends. Then you kind of figure out who you're going to be going home with, or you get your ass home, or unfortunately, majority of people are hammered, drive around drunk, and Wauconda PD hits their fucking DUI quota in a day. All right, so that's it. It's pre-fest, post-fest, or I'm sorry, pre-fest, fest, and post-fest. And then there's a special kind of festin', and this is for the diehards, the hardcores, the new breed, the fire breed, my people. That's Sunday festin'. Okay? So Sunday festin', there's some great photos. I'll have to put them up. Emmy Lou used to have a bunch of them. She used to document our fuck-up days a lot. But that's what me and my people are big into, the Sunday fest. So it's Sunday day drinking, and what we used to like to do on Sunday Fest is we would just drink MGDs all day, and then we would pile them up to see if we could reach the top, how many hundreds of beers we could smash. And the best part about Sunday Fest is it usually didn't cost you any money, because Saturday night post fest, people are like, fuck this, I'm not going back, and they're just throwing beer tickets at you. So you got all these beer tickets, and then towards the end, no one gives a shit, so you're just slamming beers. So they usually have a fun kind of kick-ass band going on, and it's day drinking, it's your boys, And you know, you got shit to live for. Monday doesn't fucking matter. And you're going to get after it, right? And you know, I had a fucking sick Fu Manchu one year for Sunday Fest. Like, I was just getting ready to go. And that's the piece of shit day. And it's for the diehards, but it was one of my favorite, man. That was where Team Blackout was awesome. And we would just smash beers all day long into the night. And then they would have to fucking kick us out. They're coming out with the hoses, like ride hoses. Get the fuck out of here, you sacks of shit, right? And then, you know, we would go do like Sunday Night Village. You know, that's what me and my friends did. You know, you wouldn't go to a Lindy's on a Sunday night. You go directly to the VI. Woj was usually 10 in bar. You'd pop on some kick-ass tunes, probably some Fleetwood Mac, and we would just keep getting hammered till 3 in the fucking morning. And that was Sunday festin', man. And it took heart, and it took balls, and it took no priorities. But it was awesome. So that is Wauconda Fest, and it's still going on. It's changed a little bit in my heart, you know, and a lot of you that are listening to this, it's probably changed a lot in your heart too. You could probably see you could have been a diehard and now you're a family fester, or you could have been whatever. But it's part of what made my town awesome, you know. And I talk a lot of shit on where I grew up, but I wouldn't give it back where I grew up at all. Fucking Wauconda, Illinois was one of the dopest places to grow up, and it made me who I am, and it gave me some of the tightest motherfuckers I ever known. Wauconda Fest was the linchpin in creating some of those hilarious memories of just stupid shit, people getting tased, beers drank, food ate, death march marched, fucking all kinds of stuff. And I wish I could tell you more. If you got a hilarious Wauconda Fest story, we might do a part 2 of this. I don't know, hit me up. You know, make sure you're following us. We've got the Facebook page, Bullchat Pal with Randy Paddock. So follow that, like that, drop it on there. Or obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave it in the comments. Remember, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Bullchat Pod, iTunes, Bullchat with Randy Paddock. Leave a rating if you like it. That always helps. Also, leave a comment. You can hit me up on social media as well. Randy J. Paddock on Instagram, Randy Paddock on Facebook, at Randy Paddock on Twitter. And you can always hit me up on that stuff or through the messengers, DMs. But like, I was always blackout drunk, and you guys know if you stay in Wauconda Fest, I had the dead eyes, the fest eyes, man, where I'm seeing through you because my brain shut off most of the time. So there are a lot of shit I don't remember, but I know it was fucking awesome, and it was great, and this has been a fun baby chat. So we will see you next time. Put it in the books. Have a good one, y'all. Peace!